Screw it, I'll wear them all. Hey gamers, it's me, ShinobiNando, and boys, it's been a busy week. This is E3 week, it's just finally wrapped up. So I thought I'd do a video to give you my opinions and a bit of a rundown in case you missed anything. First up is EA. Now I have to say that I found EA's presentation very boring. I'm a bit biased though. I'm not a particular fan of obviously sports games or Battlefield, even if they are adding Battle Royale mode. The presentation as a whole was a bit lackluster. I found it wasn't very entertaining, kind of boring. There were some interesting tidbits about Star Wars. So in Star Wars Battlefront 2 they are adding some new characters. They're adding Obi-Wan, General Grievous. They're adding Han Solo from the Solo films. They're expanding on the hunt mode that they added, which they started with the Ewoks. They're adding young Lando Calrissian. Chewbacca's getting a revamp. And Count Dooku. A lot of Clone Wars content is coming. And that was pretty much the most interesting thing that happened for me until Anthem dropped. So we finally got a lot of information about Anthem. Anthem is going to be a shared world shooter, much in the same vein as Destiny, but with a bit of a flip on it. So when you're in the hub world, it's going to be first person. You walk around talking to NPCs, getting missions, acquiring loot, customizing your javelins. That's what the Iron Man suits are called, the javelin. We found out that there are 4 different types of javelins. There is the Colossus, which is kind of like your Hulkbuster style one that you saw. It uses heavy artillery, heavy weapons. It's more of a tank. It's a lot slower, as you would expect. Then you have the Ranger. The Ranger is kind of like your standard class. That's your classic Iron Man, if you will. Has a lot of long-range weapons, it looks like crowd control abilities, probably a mix and match of everything, you know, jack of all trades, master of nothing. And then you also have your Interceptor. We haven't seen much on that. They mainly focused on the Colossus and the Ranger, but the Interceptor, seems to be like your stealthy type or your rogue character, very fast, probably melee focused by the looks of it. And lastly, you had the Storm. The Storm seems to be some kind of mage type archetype. It can float around rather than fly with thrusters like the others. It seems to use some kind of like electricity or magnetic fields. It can teleport, which is awesome. We saw it in the game. It was using some machine guns, although it didn't seem to have a lot of weapons built into it. Like the Colossus or the Javelin, it did seem to have like this weird thing on its arm that caused it to teleport or manipulate magnetic fields and blast lightning and stuff like that. So a few people were a bit concerned that it's moving away from the kind of what they were expecting, maybe more of a Mass Effect type feel. But however, I'm quite excited. I do enjoy Destiny. I'm not afraid to admit that. I do like my shared world shooters. It's a new genre I'm really fond of. I love cooperative, so we'll see how it goes. Which was surprising for EA, rather scarce, was mobile games, other than a new Command & Conquer, and microtransactions. They admitted there will be some loot customization in Anthem, and of course there's going to be Ultimate Team packs, but they weren't really focusing on that, especially with Star Wars Battlefront. They said that all the new DLC will be free, which is a big surprise, the same as Battlefield 5, or Battlefield V, I believe, for Victory. And that's about it, really. It was kind of lackluster. If I had to rate it, if you want me to rate it, I'd give it a 2.5. Let's give it a 2.5, just for Anthem. Nothing else really was impressive other than, you know, them saying they're not gonna do a season pass. Other than that, Anthem was amazing. Check it out. There'll be links for trailers in the description. Whoa. Right, guys. Next up is Xbox. Xbox came out swinging this year. They showed off 50 games. I believe it's 18 world premieres, 15 exclusives, a new Halo. We don't know when it's set. We know it's called Infinite. Other than that, there's an amazing CGI trailer. Who knows what's going on there? Another first-party news. There's the sequel to Gears of War, Gears of War 5. This seems to be going back to the much grittier tone. I really didn't enjoy 4's story, I'm not going to lie. There was a bit too much fighting robots. I really wish I captured some moments me and my friend had playing that. We ripped that game to shreds. Oh my goodness, that was boring and repetitive. Gears is known for its boss battles, its gripping story, its unique monsters, and Gears 4 didn't do it for me. But Gears 5 looks like it's moving back into the right direction. The focus seems to be the Locust again, although the Swarm, they seem to have an ability to possess people and armor and robots. They kind of mutate them into these weird tentacle monsters. It looks really, really cool. There's a backstory with the female character, which again, I was so bored I couldn't remember her name, and even with this trailer I couldn't. But she seems to be tied to the Locust Queen from the first trilogy. Overall, it looks very, very intriguing, and I'm interested to see what happens next. On top of that, we got news of Crackdown. We got Terry Crews in it again, showing off some more Crackdown 3. Sea of Thieves seems to finally be getting some story mode content, hopefully. Anyways, that's the vibe Rare is giving with its new trailer that it released with E3. It's giving out 2 new content, 2 new drops of content even, throughout the year. We had a plethora of really interesting indies. Guys, there's a lot to talk to. I'll try to speed through. I know I'm rambling. So for indies, we had Ori and the Will-O-the-Wisp. That looked phenomenal. If you haven't played Ori, please pick it up. It's amazing. They also showed off Tunic, which is kind of like a Fox version of The Legend of Zelda. PUBG is getting some new maps if you're into PUBG. Personally, I'm not so much into it, but apparently it's really exciting because they're getting like a Vietnam map and a snow map. They had a ton of world premieres, as I said at the beginning. We saw the trailer for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, some gameplay footage. We saw Devil May Cry 5. Now, don't get mistaken, this isn't a sequel to, I believe it was Ninja Theory's Devil May Cry. They released DMC with the revamped Dante. This is a true sequel to the original anthology, is it called now? Quadrilogy? Where basically you pick up the mantle as Neo. They did show Dante a little bit towards the end, Old Man Dante as I like to call him, kind of like Old Man Logan. But the biggest reveal, and by far the best, was Cyberpunk 2077. Oh my god, this game looks amazing. Apparently it's confirmed first-person shooter, much in the vein of kind of a mix between Deus Ex, Blade Runner the film, and The Witcher 3. I'm all on board. Honest to God, check out the link to the trailer in the description. It looks phenomenal. I can't believe it. Oh my god, what a surprise as well. They tried to do the cheesy thing. Everyone thought it was Watch Dogs, but you know what? It paid off with the whole hacking thing they did at the end of the presentation. Bam, straight away. The crowd went wild, as everyone was just shocked to see finally, after hearing about it for so long, some gameplay and some footage of Cyberpunk 2077. And lastly, they showed some more benefits of Game Pass. I'm a big advocate of Game Pass, not just because of all the Microsoft stuff you see me in, but for $7.99, at least in the UK, you're going to get first party and now third parties on release through Game Pass. There's a ton of great games. I'm replaying all the DMCs on there. Shameless plug, Twitch link in the description. And you know what, guys? There's a lot of times where it's £1 or $1, I suppose, that you could pick it up for a month. It's well worth the value. Try it for a month. Try it for the 14-day trial. I'm not just selling it. It's not sponsored. Honestly, I really am an advocate of this kind of like Netflix-style gaming because you get like 100+ games. There's Knights of the Old Republic on there. I forgot about Knights of the Old Republic. That alone, just get it, because to buy Knights of the Old Republic is $8.99. Sorry, anyway, so you might as well do it. So guys, if I was going to give Xbox's conference a rating, I'd definitely give it at least a 4 out of 5. It was a really, really strong presentation. You gotta remember there's going to be a lot of naysayers. They're going to say all this content's available on PC. But it doesn't matter to Microsoft. They still win. They still get your money either way. And why is this a bad thing? Crossplay with your friends on PC and Xbox. Why does it matter? You're still going to play it through Microsoft's platform. It's there. But you have to use their operating system, their app store. So, in my opinion, it's all the same family. Stop hating. PC, Xbox, it doesn't matter which one it is. It's exclusive to those platforms and they own both. Next up, guys, was Bethesda. Now, Bethesda's presentation to me was really quite cringy. The games they showed were fantastic. They're showing off a new Wolfenstein spin-off, much like the Old Blood, called the Young Blood, where you play as Blazkowicz's, I'm really sorry about the names, daughters, the twin daughters. Looks like each of them are going to have different kind of skills. One of them focus on melee, one of them focus on ranged attacks and sniping. Some new content for Prey. Prey was a bit of a surprise sleeper hit. At first, people didn't seem to jump on board, but then as time went on, it got really popular. It's a very good game. It's done by the developers of Dishonored, which is one of my favorite titles of all time. Corvo, amazing character. Death of the Outsider, brilliant game. Really happy to see more from them. Doom Eternal got a teaser. Again, like I was saying, the games were fantastic. Rage looked amazing. Rage is bright, it's vibrant, it's nothing like the first game. The combat looks so smooth. The collector's edition is a bit crazy. I'm going to see if I'm going to get it. It's a talking kind of mutant head. We'll see how that goes. Let me know in the comments if you want me to unbox that. I mean, If this video gets enough views or likes or comments, then I'll probably do it. I'm a bit on I'm a bit like this with it, but it's kind of a funky one. A lot of jokes fell flat. A lot of them were forced. They opened up with a band. I was kind of like, what's going on? We just want to see some, you know, this is E3. I thought we were over this. I felt like I was watching a presentation from 2014. But like I said, the games didn't disappoint. It's just kind of like a lackluster presentation until Todd came on stage. And of course, he brought us the goods. He brought us the new Fallout game. It's Fallout 76. It takes place 20 years after the bombs dropped. You are one of the first settlers. Now, guys, let's get this out of the way straight away. This game is kind of dividing the fan base. This game is, and this is the buzzword for this year, a shared world shooter. First and foremost, it is always online. There is 2 factions, I believe, of NPCs that make sense within the lore. There are only ghouls and robots. All other humans are going to be other players. Whether you choose to fight them in PvP or work with them cooperatively or just leave them alone, that's up to you. But again, it makes sense within the lore. Why would there be humans 20 years, if you're one of the first vaults that opened 20 years after the bombs? But again, people were expecting a single-player Fallout. I don't know why. We all know by now that it goes Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Elder Scrolls. So the next single-player proper mainline franchise game is going to be Elder Scrolls 6, which they did tease, and I mean literally teased. People lost their minds. They didn't even tell us where it was. I mean, people are saying Hammerfell. But it didn't say, it just said Elder Scrolls 6 and looked like an English coastline, and that's it. Literally could be anywhere other than, you know, your obvious locations that they've already done and ones that don't sit well with like a medieval coastal village or whatever they showed, coastline. They're bringing out some mobile games which apparently look and feel a lot like Skyrim did on the 360, which is kind of cool, and they're cross-platform, so you can play it on anything. Elder Scrolls Legends and Elder Scrolls Blades, where it's like a town building simulator, dungeon crawling, Diablo-esque, but first person thing. I don't know. It looks cool. If there's, again, there'll be a link in the description to the presentation. Check it out for yourself. I'm not a big fan of mobile games, so I know a lot of people were a fan of Fallout Shelter. Now, because of the cringe and all the jokes that fell flat and the weird music at the beginning, I mean, it's part of the soundtrack of the game most likely, but I give this 3 out of 5 ninja stars. Just the information I wanted to know, I didn't find out. The reveals were amazing, but the presentation was just kind of like, it was a lot of faff. Up next, Ubisoft. Ubisoft had a very strong showing. Right from the get-go, they showed Beyond Good and Evil. I mean, let's ignore Just Dance. Like, it's gonna happen. It sells, it's a Christmas game, whatever. Moving along. So Beyond Good and Evil got a fantastic CG trailer. They showed a little bit of gameplay. It's apparently cooperative. You can play with your friends. They also surprisingly brought on some celebrities to stage, such as Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm so bad with name, guys. I know him as the guy from Third Rock from the Sun. Probably showing my age there. Anyways, he came out, and this kind of sparked a weird controversy where he was saying his company, Hit Record, they were going to let you, as creators, designers, create artwork that will be used in the game or assets that will be used in the game. I think this sparked a bit of controversy just because of, we live in a world where like graphic designers, artists, everyone who's creative, they get like abused to be paid by exposure. So I can kind of see a little bit of that because you're basically just giving Ubisoft free assets. But I think the intentions were genuine and quite nice or whatever, but it got taken the wrong way, perhaps, or maybe there is some credit to it. Maybe they are just fishing for free things. I think they weren't going for that. I think they were kind of going like, oh, how cool will it be to have your art in our game? Ooh, isn't that amazing? You know, it's created by the community. Moving along, they showed off The Division 2. Already, The Division 2 looks like much stronger of a game. The setting's a lot more interesting. It's set 7 months after the first one in DC rather than New York. The virus has pretty much burnt itself out, apparently, but it's broken down society. We've got to the point where now we're warring tribes. It's civil war in America again. And the remnants of a shadow organization from the government are apparently trying to take over. Most interesting now is that you can level up a subclass almost, if you will. There's Demolition, there's Survivalist, and there's Marksman. And so basically the Demolitionist gets a grenade launcher, which is really cool to see in The Division because it didn't have any heavy weapons. bar the LMGs. You have the Barrett 50 cal for the marksman or the sharpshooter. And then you have a crossbow with different arrow tips for the survivalist. And each of them have unique twists and takes on the traditional skill tree perks. However, and this is just hearsay because yours truly sadly wasn't invited to E3 this year, but apparently they've really scaled down the RPG elements. They've gone more for a shooter feel. The combat did feel more fluid and faster. However, I really enjoy the kind of RPG elements. You know, you had your healer, you had your tank abilities, things like that, your debuffs, your buffs. I really like that. I like the fact that the Division 1 was more RPG than shooter, but I know a lot of people were expecting it the other way around. Although they did show off some of the new abilities and they look amazing. There's this one grenade called the Hive and it fires up micro missiles that then seek out people and destroy them. That was pretty cool. They showed off Starlight finally, the kind of Skylanders, their version of Skylanders, where you tack on, you have a base ship and you tack on new weapons and abilities for it. I don't know if this game is too late. It is coming out on the Nintendo Switch. It's getting Star Fox, but who knows? That kind of ship has sailed, really. Maybe Ubisoft, they were too far in development. They didn't want to cancel it. They would have the toys in production. But who knows, the Nintendo Switch could save it. But of course, you can't talk about Ubisoft without talking about Assassin's Creed. Strangely, and a twist from The Division, Assassin's Creed is now becoming a full-blown RPG. You can now choose the gender of your character. There are 2 characters, and you choose which one as a child that you play as. And you now even have branching conversation trees. You can speak to people and choose your own responses, much like a Mass Effect or a Fallout game. This is the time before the first Assassins. You play as a Spartan mercenary. Not only that, you can mix and match armor. You gain legendary loot, much like you do in The Witcher or Dragon Age or anything like that. Kill a badass enemy, get a badass helmet. You also, very strangely, start off with a piece of Eden. You have the Spear of Destiny or the Spear of Leonidas. Remember, guys, that in the Assassin's Creed lore, a lot of mystical items were, in fact, precursor items that had the same name and changed hands. Much like the saber in Unity, which was Excalibur, of course, and many other famous swords from mythology. Overall, I'm really excited. It basically looks like Origins, set in Greece, with more of an RPG feel. I know that Greece, along with Egypt, were one of the most requested, obviously with feudal Japan, which we may never see. The story doesn't really make sense there. I have heard a lot of people say, why not put it in Japan and have the ninjas actually as the Templars or allied with the Templars, as if like the assassins, so another group of assassins have come to Japan. The ninjas are like, hey, what you doing here? Get out of here. But they're trying to help the shogunate or something like that, or have a 3-way kind of thing going where it's the ninjas versus the Templars versus the assassins, or however you want to have it. But it would have been cool. But Greece, again, fantastic setting, especially with the new kind of melee combat that they introduced in Origins. And Ubisoft brought it this year. We had mic ghosts, where people went off stage and their mics didn't get turned off. So you had some endearing ones which were really cute, like the developers from Beyond Good of Evil, that they went off stage and like, we did it! And you could hear them backstage. And then you had some other ones where some corporate guys came out and they were like, every time, oh my god, every time. And you were like, oh, does he realize? And apparently even at one point, somebody went to the bathroom and left their mic on, which is kind of funny. Anyways, guys, all joking aside, I give Ubisoft's presentation a 4 out of 5. Saw lots of new things I wanted to see, learned a lot of information, some surprises. I know that Odyssey was leaked, but the fact that it's an RPG, its setting, the fact that, you know, just the twist that you get the item of Eden straight away rather than that being the crux of the story was kind of a fresh take. Oh, and Donkey Kong is joining Mario Rabbids, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, if you want to get the DLC, if you love that game, the kind of Mario meets XCOM, go for it. I really recommend it. Again, I did an unboxing for the Collector's Edition. Check that out. That's a fantastic game, especially if you're a Switch owner. So next up is technically Square Enix. However, I'm going to just briefly touch over that, much like the amount of effort they put into the presentation. I'm just going to do my rating straight away. It's number 1. It's a 1 out of 5. They basically came on stage, showed a bunch of trailers. I missed it. Apparently, I didn't miss much. I rewatched it. Kingdom Hearts got a new trailer that they already saw in the Xbox presentation. Same with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That was the same. It looks like Square Enix maybe gave all their exclusive trailers to the big console giants and didn't save anything for themselves, really. What more can I say? We didn't really see anything else we wanted to, Final Fantasy or anything like that, so you get a 1, Square Enix. Sorry, better luck next year. For the PC Game Show and Digital Devolver, I'm just going to say, if you don't watch Digital Devolver's E3 presentations, please do yourself a favor and go watch them. I'm not going to describe them, I'm not going to rate them, just go watch them. They're fantastic, and if I say anything more, I ruin the surprise. And now, guys, it's time for Nintendo. Now, a lot of people expected Nintendo to come sweep in and clear the floor with everyone. But sadly, for myself, I'm not a massive Smash Brothers fan. Now, if you love Smash Brothers, phenomenal. Smash Brothers Ultimate looked amazing, graphically and technically. I'm not really into Smash Brothers anymore. They introduced a new Mario Party, which is also quite nice. I did play that as a child, so a bit of nostalgia. Again, it's not a console seller for me. It's something I might just pick up, which is cool. It's nice. It's there. But the main focus of the entire thing was, of course, Smash Brothers. They're introducing every character ever, new stages, revamp of abilities, technical touches. But again, for me, that it was just like blah 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 blah. Smash Brothers. Didn't really see any more of Pokemon Let's Go. People did get to play it again. I didn't. I'm stuck here in the UK. Maybe one day. But they said it was a weird mix between Pokemon Go and classic Kanto region, red, blue, and yellow. So you don't capture Pokemon the traditional way. You catch them Pokemon Go style. And then you battle red, blue, and yellow style. Apparently the controller is really uncomfortable. You know, the Pokeball. For an adult's hands, it is designed for children after all. Let's face facts, guys. They see this as a great entry point for kids to come back, especially as maybe Sun and Moon was a bit too technically complicated, even with all the tutorial bits. This is a really simplistic way of getting kids that liked Pokemon Go into the proper Pokemon franchise, and that's maybe its job. We're getting a proper Pokemon in 2019. Last up is Sony. I say it's Sony for last because for me this is really a conflicting one. I love Sony's single player games, don't get me wrong, guys. How great, Cappy gave me a line on my head. I've cosplayed as Nathan Drake. I've unboxed so many PlayStation exclusives such as Ni no Kuni, God of War. I've played them, I've streamed them from my PS4. I have a PS4 Pro and an Xbox One before you guys call me an Xbox. If you can't already tell the tone of this, I'm getting a bit defensive because I know I'm going to probably be attacked. Sony opened up with The Last of Us 2. It looked fantastic. They included Ellie as a teenager at kind of like, I don't know, some kind of festival maybe that the community's having for surviving so long, or whatever, a birthday. She met her love interest Reika, and then they danced. They go in for a little embrace. It goes to her hair, and then it shifts to this kind of black and white. It's very bleak, much of a dramatic shift from the original scene beforehand, and we see some gameplay. And it looks basically like The Last of Us, again, with a few modifications. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. The stealth and the movement and traversal in the world looks a lot more fluid. You now squeeze in between cars, you can hide under cars, the enemies will search for you much more aggressively. You can avoid large chunks of them being stealthy again, which was always a brilliant addition and realistic tone to The Last of Us, obviously, other than the fungi monsters. I know we know they're in there because of the previous trailers from the last 3 years, but they didn't show any. They showed kind of more the human element that may be more of a focus, maybe a lot more of the infected have died, but obviously there's always the fear of the fungi infecting them again. But no release date. Now, don't hate on me here. I love seeing more footage and more gameplay as much as the next guy, but this is 3 years in a row. Come on, Sony. Give me a release date. Give me a release period. Tell me 2009 holidays, whatever. But like, did I learn anything new? And again, this comes as a massive fan of Uncharted and the Naughty Dog themselves. They did show us some new interesting games, such as Ghost. Looked phenomenal. Samurai game, very much based on like samurai films and anime. A lot of like scenic things where like time slows down as you're about to draw your sword and the foliage comes across. The sword combat looks really skill-based and realistic in the sense where, you know, they always drag out sword fights in movies, but in actual fact they would probably be over in a few seconds. You have a lot of that fighting. Very, very, very cinematic, and I use that in a positive way. And then they showed us some more new games. They showed us Resident Evil 2. Oh my god, I almost forgot about Resident Evil 2. So Resident Evil 2 is back. It looks amazing. They have reworked this game from the ground up. It's not even a remaster. It's like a re-release. The characters look phenomenal. It was the best bait and switch. If you've not seen the Resident Evil 2 trailer, Go see it. I'm not going to say any more. It was the best bait and switch of the night. I cannot wait to dive back in this. Like, it blows the GameCube remaster out of the water. Seriously, guys, look at it. Moving on, they showed more Spider-Man. They showed the gameplay. It looks so much more fluid, so much better. They introduced proper Spider-Man villains. I know Negative Man is, but not a lot of people knew him, so it was kind of nice to see them show off Rhino, Vulture, the Scorpion, possibly Venom. They also showed off a new game from Remedy, who did Alan Wake and Quantum Break. It's called Control. It very much kind of looked like Quantum Break in terms of aesthetic. Not much was shown on it. It is multi-platform. It isn't exclusive to PlayStation, although they were really sneaky. They did not state that this was not an exclusive. They made it out like it was. Remedy, Sam Lake, had to clarify this on Twitter. So if you were there, I imagine this presentation was fantastic. Apparently there were multiple halls with live music based on the games that they were showing. The main issue I have is, in between the actual live people there transitioning to the different halls, there were these big gaps. And it mostly felt like filler, where we went back to like some kind of commentary like you would in a sports game. And it was really awkward from watching it from home. Again, I'm sure this presentation would have been like a 5 or a 4 out of 5 live at E3, but at home, I give it a 2.5 out of 5. It was really awkward. I didn't learn a lot. I mean, yes, we saw more Death Stranding. We learned a bit more about the gameplay. It seems to be less action-based and more like survival horror stealth, which is pretty cool. A lot of people called it Backpack Simulator. Have a look in the description again for a trailer. It looks amazing from what we gather. You're a delivery man in the future, and there's these weird ghosts, and you use this weird fetus attached to you, and a sensor to detect them, because you can't see them, but you can sense them. But other than that, yeah, like I said, I didn't learn a lot about any new games. Resident Evil was a fantastic surprise. Ghosts look phenomenal. Last of Us we knew was going to look great. Give me a release date. They didn't show us a lot of other games we were expecting to see, such as anything from Rocksteady and Rockstar. So no Superman reveal, no more gameplay of Red Dead Redemption 2, no more really gameplay of Call of Duty other than a brief play it first, play it best on PlayStation. If we could, please, a moment of silence for Cade 6. I'm gonna miss you, buddy. If you don't know what I mean, I'll give you an opportunity to pause now. Go check out the Forsaken DLC story trailer. If you're still with me, my goodness, they kill Cade 6. They kill Cade 6, and he does it. It's Prince Aldred, and he does it with his own gun. Pause it. It's the Ace of Spades. He shoots him and his ghost with his own gun. That's not cool, man. They said they wanted to make Destiny 2's story grittier and a darker tone, and they wanted to make it a revenge story. And to be honest, I know a lot of people are complaining, but who else could you kill that would make you want to get revenge? So let's just see how this plays out. Right, guys, that's it for E3 from me. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know if I didn't cover everything you wanted me to. I will try harder. This is my first kind of video like this. If you found this video, please check out my collector's editions unboxings. That's what I love to do the most. I have loads of collectibles and figurines and God knows what else. I will be doing most of the collector's editions that have been revealed at E3, such as the Power Armor edition of Fallout 76, possibly the Rage Mutant Talking Fish Head thing, and many others. Anyways, guys, go catch up on E3. I'll probably try to do a video for Gamescom as well. Let me know your opinions and what you thought of E3, what you're hyped for in the comments down below. Try to keep it civil. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Aiden, if I ever do that again, you have my permission to kill me.